circle, family, or friends from the devastation of war. That has affected my life too. But I ask you today in this moment to silently, just this moment, just say thank you. And as I was thinking about this, I thought about how resilient we are as a country. And I wondered, what is the secret or the key that holds us together, that keeps us pushing forward no matter what? And I imagined a miniature acorn buried deep within each of you, holding the secret of your potential, your future, the greatness and the magnificence of who you are. Now, this acorn, being a miniature, would have to be as small as the tip of a straight pin. Yet it houses all you can be, your infinite possibility. So today, celebrating Memorial Day, a day that we celebrate fallen heroes, it's a day to be in a day of retrospective. And I'd like to read to you a poem that was written by a fallen hero, I Stand Before You. And his name was Roger J. Robichaud, former SPS U.S. Army. And he says, I stand before you. I stand before you all today, but no one eye can see my way. My time arrived to leave this earth, a fact so planned to every birth. It happened where I had to go. My torch for life was so aglow. I transferred while in uniform, protecting freedom through a storm. Should I resent I died for you? Not on my life, red, white, and blue. Please help my family through each day. Tell all my friends, try not to stray. And of the country I did love, do think of me through God above. Your memories brought forth this day. Send love to us who could not stay. And I think that's the epitome of what many, many women of the armed forces feel as they come home. I've seen so many men and women on TV without arms or legs saying, I would do this all over again. A time to remember, send love to those that could not stay. It's a time for healing and a time to remember and to be grateful. And this is the real meaning of Memorial Day. Sometimes it saddens me that far too many of the people on this day think that they're opening their pools and they're having barbecues, although I've been told here you call it a fry out. You're having a fry out. Where I come from, it's a barbecue. And you buy new furniture for your porches and patios because they're on sale. It's a time to kick off summer, and this is all good. There's nothing wrong with any of this. But I would like to believe that at some point in the haste for fun for the weekend, that we remember why we live in this country. With all its warts, we're able to have the freedom that we have. We enjoy this freedom because of all the fathers, mothers, sons, and daughters who have given up their lives. Abraham Lincoln pondered these thoughts and said in part of the Lincoln's Gettysburg Address, that from which these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause which gave the last full measure of devotion. That this nation, under God, shall never have a new birth of freedom. So I ask you, for those of you that are going to be in contact with children and have influence with the children, grandchildren's, aunts, uncles, your own children, it's important that you have a time in this day to ask them to understand what the day is about. If you could bring them into so that they begin to understand and respect the country that they live in. You know, children today are bombarded with so much more than they should be. And right now that's the way it is until it isn't. But in the meantime, letting children know, do you know why we celebrate this day? Do you know why we go to the flags and we see all of the men and women marching? And give them a part of the history of maybe a great-grandfather or a relative in your life. And if you have a picture, pull them out and celebrate. Take time to let your children know that there is something important going on. I was listening to not Good Morning America, I was listening to CBS this morning, and there's something that we have to remember. We have heroes. There are heroes right here in this room. And we have heroes in our lives. And there was a girl that had asked a young gentleman to go to the prom with her, and he had Down syndrome. And everybody was writing in what a wonderful thing she did. And she was so insulted by this. She said, I didn't do this to be a good person. I didn't do this because he was left out. I did this because I've known him since we're 4 years old. And probably until I was 8, 9, or 10, I didn't even know about Down syndrome. She said, I'm no hero. But see, those are the heroes. And then they had a whole segment on, it was all about the 60s, and they had a whole segment on about, what's his name, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And at the end, I don't know these things, I'm too young. He was saying at the end of every show, they say, you're perfect, you're good, just the way you are. Imagine all the children who grew up with that, maybe not having the best upbringing, yet they were glued to that TV and heard, you are good and you are special just the way you are. And I love you and I'll see you tomorrow. So there's much good, and we have a tendency to dwell in that which is not good, or which is not for our highest good. We're not guarding our temple gates, and we're allowing that negativity to come in. So this life we have then, the freedom to be who and what we want to be, is a gift. It is a gift, and it comes wrapped in red, white, and blue, and it's a gift that is saying, I have put within you the tiny seed, the smallness of the tip of a straight needle, a straight pin inside of your heart and soul, that infinite potential. You only have to discover the secret. You only have to know that the answers are within you, within the acorn of your heart. So I would like to think about the responsibility and the debt, if you will, of gratitude that we all have been given for the life. And I really, really thought about this and the way that I wanted to begin this talk, because what right do we have to moan and groan, really, and complain about such trivial things? Oh, the loop didn't work this morning. Did anyone miss the loop not working this morning? I didn't. Did you? Did you know it wasn't working? See, it's too trivial to worry about. It's just too trivial. You know, and who cares if the song words weren't right? Do we know that song? Yeah. See, we get so hung up in that, oh my God, service didn't go right, and there was this wrong and that wrong. There was no wrong. It was all perfect. It's all good. And that's what I'm saying. We get so caught up in these little things. You know, last week I forgot to do the prayer of protection. I was so excited because I wanted to get the blessing out there. So, you know, we'll all manage. We'll all manage. So I guess the question is, are we living on purpose? Are we having fun? Are we loving our neighbors as ourselves? And that doesn't mean the people next door, but that would help. But I was so lucky because I went 2 doors down, a young woman came out, and I walked over and I said, hi, I'm Aubree-Lynn, and I've been trying to meet you. And she said, oh, good. And we talked, and she just got divorced, and she's there by herself and doesn't have a job, and she's trying to get her life back together. And I said, oh, my God, I'm here by myself, and my life is together, but I could help you get your life together, or we could talk. I went through that once in my life. See, we reach out, and we touch people. Now, I've done this before, and some people look at me like I'm crazy, and they don't want to be friends. They're lost. They're lost. I'm a good friend. I am really a good friend. So What's your purpose? What is your purpose? Do you live your life on purpose? And a life on purpose is led with love. You know, it's not like I need to get more love. It's I must release more love. I must let this bubble up and come out. And I was telling Cheryl this morning, I'm so happy, and I said, get used to me, because the happier I get, the crazier I get, because I'm so in love with life. Do you remember I told you I want to dance with the beloved? Well, it's starting to happen, and we are having so much fun. So living on purpose, then, is following your bliss. Following your bliss. And what is it? Following the first two commandments. Love your God with all your heart and soul, whatever that means to you. Not what it means to me, whatever that means to you. Loving your neighbor as yourself, loving each other in here, seeing only the beauty of each and every face that's in this room. That's what it's about. And if there was this big blackboard in the sky, what would you write on it? Think about that. If there's this big, huge blackboard in the sky, what would you write on it? See, Spirit can't give you your purpose. Spirit can only give you the potential to fulfill your purpose. And that means going within. Spirit gave you life, and it said, honor me. Honor me in all you do. You have free will, volition, and choice. That's what Spirit gave you. That's what he gave you. The blackboard is not in the sky, my friends. It's within that little teeny itty bitty acorn, hidden with all your goodness and your greatness and your potential. And I'm sorry to say, it's all up to you and me. See, that's it. It's all up to us. So, but what do you have at your disposal all the time? Are erases, and you can choose to erase yesterday. If it didn't work for you, erase it. Find out what worked and what didn't. I saw something on TV this week, and it was so awesome. And it was a little guy, a little boy with his dad, and he was in pajamas, and the dad said, okay, it's high-low time. And I thought, what's high-low time? I don't know what high-low time is. So they crawled into the bed together, and so the little dad said, you go first. So he said, my low time was when father was a police officer, when you were chasing the bad guys. And then the father said, well, what's your high time? And he said, well, my high time is you're here right now with me. And he goes, okay, your turn. What's your low time? What's your high time? So I thought, this is a great way to end your day in prayer. What was my low time? And if I didn't like that, we can erase that. What was my high time? Thank you, God. Good night. I'm going to sleep. See, prayers don't have to be these elongated, filled with adjectives. Yes, they're beautiful, and some people can do them gorgeously, but that's not, it's only what's coming from your heart. My day yesterday was all high time, except my low time was I didn't go for a walk, and I should have. But there's no should, so it's okay. So, but do you understand what I'm saying? Living on purpose allows you to experience all the joy that you want and all the laughter, and it makes peace in your life. Why choose a state of depression when you can live in a state of joy? Now, I know there is something called depression, and I know that it's a chemical imbalance, and I understand that, and I'm not discounting it in any way, shape, or form. One little step, one little action, blast great music, speaking of which we're going to talk about, but blast great, do something that might lift you this high, just something to go out of it. And I understand this. I have a daughter that has the disease that football players have from a horrendous car accident when she's 16, and she has several concussions and blah, blah, blah. Story not important, but she suffers. But sometimes when I hear her on the phone, I just want to see, do one thing today. And, you know, that's hard. So gratitude, happiness, they're major keys to all that we are. So, you want to know what the whole secret to life is? I figured it out. I read nonstop. Most of you kind of know that by now. And it all boils down to this. Okay, you ready? Okay. Love your Creator. Forgive all. Breathe deep. Drink lots of water. Laugh out loud. Give to others. Eat fruits and vegetables. And be grateful. That's it. There is definitely spirit in this room. Okay, so I want you to remember these. Love your Creator. Say it. Love your Creator. Forgive all. Forgive all. Breathe deep. Breathe deep. Drink lots of water. Drink lots of water. Give to others. Give to others. Eat fruits and vegetables. Eat fruits and vegetables. And be grateful. Now, with just that simplicity of that, do you think it's possible to have a good life? I do. See, at some point in our life, we will create that new path, and the one that we put one foot in front of the other, and we'll choose to deal with each moment in the moment. In the moment. Don't let it fester. Don't let it build. Deal with it now. And 9 times out of 10, it was a no thing. A no thing. And many people ask, if God is love, if God is peace, why all the confusion? Don't you think even God could have done it a better way? Can't you see that even the divine will in ordaining man's destiny was compelled to let man work out his own future? Otherwise, we'd be robots. Oh, that's what it says, and I didn't even look at that. It says we would be robots. Okay, so as I was thinking about this and my miniature acorn, you know what? It's no more than the Christ consciousness. That's what it boils down to, the Christ consciousness within and the 7 attributes of the Christ consciousness, love, wisdom, joy, beauty, and all of those good, wonderful things, light. So we have to connect to that which is already in us. And Dr. Holmes says in Choosing the Center of Life that it's really what we are, a self-choosing center of life. We get to choose. How great is that? We get to choose. We now have more and more evidence that the universe is created by thought or energy, frequency, which wording works for you. Most of our great teachers, they all preach the same thing. There is one mind and it exists in everything. The one mind is divine intelligence, the creative energy. So all that we can be already exists in mind. That's the secret of you. Charles Fillmore wrote this, divine mind is the one and only reality. If we ever truly understand how powerful we are, our lives would indeed be a bowl of cherries. I just like that. So what I would like to end with today is I have a reading. I love Quiet Talks with the Master. It's Eva Bell Gerber. And she has a reading called The Author of Peace. And I would just like to end with that today. The Author of Peace. When there is confusion, whether it be of mind, affairs, or body, it is because the mind has strayed and fallen into byways, has departed from the Father's house, the Holy of Holies. No mind can dwell there and have any confusion in its outer world. As you find yourself looking into conditions of inharmony, confusion in the external sense, as you see chaos in the world about you, know that it is not of God. Whosoever claims to be walking the path with me, yet finds confusion in the realm of external living, has somehow strayed from the path. For if he functions from that point, seeing with an eye single through all outward conditions, through all mere mental conditions, to the one divine, then all encompassing of the whole will be. For all who are confused, sick, battered, by conditions or inharmony in either body or affairs, hold the light of my truth. Fills all the space. I shall be lifted up in man's consciousness and shall be in the truth that draw all men to me. So today, find something that resonates with your heart and soul. For me, it's this ministry. It has to be a feel-good, and it's never a chore, never a burden, only pure joy. What brings you pure joy? And remember, we owe it to ourselves for all those who gave their life for us to live a great, magnificent life on purpose. The secret of your life is inside of your very own heart and soul. Namaste.